just sit back and relax while I read you this story. Then leaves once again arose, swirled and filled the air. This is Jen, ASMR. Subscribe before you fall asleep. Hi there, my lovely sleepy squirrels. I hope that you are all well. In this video, I will be reading you this sleepy cute Christmas story, A Christmas Squirrel, for my sleepy squirrels. And hopefully this will get you nice and relaxed, but also get you in the festive mood. So just sit back or lie back and relax while I read you this story. A Christmas Squirrel, written by Mike Dudson and illustrated by Ian Beck. This was kindly sent to me by my lovely patron, Cynthia. Hey Cynthia, thank you. You may have seen it in my recent subscriber mail video. Just gonna trace on the front cover for a little minute before we get started. Was a pie, but it's a little basket of nuts, the chestnuts. Christmas Squirrel. You guys are my sleepy Christmas squirrels, right? A Christmas Squirrel is the winner of Amazon's UK competition to find a reimagined version of the festive classic A Christmas Carol for Anais and Lauren. It was Christmas Eve, and every creature and beast was merrily busy preparing a feast. Woodland Hall was dressed with bright decorations, ready for the next day's festive celebrations. From the door wafted warmth, and the sweet smell of spice among bunting, strung up by a family of mice. Here each year the animals brave the cold weather, celebrating and sharing their Christmas together. Some bunting and holly. All except Squirrel, who while out walking in the wood had this magical time quite misunderstood. You see, Squirrel cared only for his own nut hoard, so the troubles of his neighbors were always ignored. Pinned to the hall door was a welcoming flyer. Join us for the feast and a lovely log fire. Stocks are low. Please bring along whatever food is spare. We'll divide it all up and each take a share. I've spent all year working to build up my larder. Maybe my neighbors should have worked harder. I can't be expected to share with them all, Squirrel said with a hump as he passed Woodland Hall. I've got Scrooge. Found him. There on the steps, with their clothes full of holes, stood a poor, hungry family of sad-looking moles. Forgive us, these few scraps are all we could spare. We won't come tomorrow, it wouldn't be fair. Nonsense, said Badger. Why, you brought all you could. You're as welcome as anyone else in this wood. Giving is hardest when you've not much to give. There truly is nothing for me to forgive. Look, even his little badge has a little sad face on it. Little sad face badge. Oh no, Holly. On her dressing gown. I like these illustrations. Oh, look at him. Back at his house, Squirrel checked up on his stores. He had nuts by the shelf full and more stuffed in drawers. More pine nuts and hazels than a squirrel could need, but he still wanted more. Such was his greed. That's sad. Forget their party. With just one final forage, I can start Christmas Day with festive nut porridge. Squirrel knew where the very best nuts were kept. So to his 3 favorite trees he scurried and leapt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 jars, 2 pins, and lots of piles. Squirrel stopped at the oldest pine in the wood. He jumped as it spoke. He didn't know that they could. Squirrel, you know that an old pine tree like me remembers exactly how it all used to be. Suddenly, Leaves rustled and rose from the ground, wrapping up Squirrel in a scene all around. It showed him his childhood and how he'd been caring. A kind and fun squirrel who also loved sharing. The tree spoke once more. See, you shared in the past. All's not lost, you can still change if you're fast. A responsible squirrel looks after himself, and for me that means stockpiling nuts on my shelf. Squirrel felt sad upon seeing his youth, but he couldn't deny what he'd seen was the truth. Enough, Squirrel thought. Stop being so silly. There's still nuts to collect, and it's getting chilly. Ignoring the pine, Squirrel pushed on with his task. But he didn't expect the next tree to ask. Squirrel, don't you know that hazels note every deed? I've watched as you've collected much more than you need. You're always asked to the feast but never attend. You're not a good neighbor and not a good friend. Why not share those nuts in which you take so much pride? But that's not fair. I found them all, Squirrel replied. More leaves whipped up a vision, and Squirrel's eyes were glued. He saw creatures on their dusty shelves with next to no food. Squirrel felt uneasy and heard as he looked away, stop them feeling hungry his share on Christmas Day. Squirrel felt quite shaken up, but made one final call. He hoped his favorite chestnut tree could make sense of it all. It wasn't unexpected when this tree raised his voice. We trees can only show you, but you need to make the choice. Squirrel, don't you know that a chestnut never lies? I show you now the future. See with your own eyes. If you continue hoarding all this food away, you'll be alone in this wood come next Christmas Day. Then leaves once again arose, swirled and filled the air, showing sad and hungry creatures full of despair. Squirrel saw the outcomes his actions had brought. For years he'd been greedy without even a thought. What use were the nuts stacked up in their rows while others went hungry right under his nose? feeling sorry, Squirrel raced home, determined to right the wrongs of his past, starting tonight. For Christmas. I don't know where else they do that in the UK. They don't do it in France anyway. Christmas came and Badger was first to the hall. He welcomed everybody. Merry Christmas, one and all. Joining the party were an owl, mice, and voles, a red-breasted robin. I don't see any robin. Where's the robin? And the family of moles. Do you see a robin? Creatures came from far and wide, with spirits riding high, from rabbits in their warrens to birds swooping from the sky. All sat down with smiles spread wide, full of Christmas cheer, despite the fact the table looked emptier this year. There's the robin. Then a thud rattled the door, followed by a clatter. First the smell of food arrived, then Squirrel with a platter. "I've been a fool," he shouted. "Will you let me make amends? I want to share my food with you, my neighbors, and my friends." Squirrel brought out a plate of scrumptious hot food, as well as nuts he'd roasted, baked, fried, and stewed. His piles of roasted chestnuts with caramel galore left spots of chewy stickiness on the wooden floor. Squirrel said to Badger, "It's almost hard to believe I'm not the greedy squirrel I was on Christmas Eve." Yay. Badger said the hall was so loud, by now he had to shout. Giving and forgiving is what Christmas is about. And with that, all in attendance raised up a Christmas toast, while Squirrel served up one huge smile and a stunning nut-filled roast. Mike Dudson is a new dad and a first-time children's author. He lives with his wife and daughter in Cheshire in the UK. And there we have the end. I hope that you enjoyed this video and this lovely reimagining of A Christmas Carol. A Christmas Squirrel by Mike Dudson and illustrated by Ian Beck. I thought it was lovely. I hope that it filled you with Christmas spirit and made you want to share with the people around to this part of the video without falling asleep, I would like you to pop a little squirrel emoji with lots of nuts to share with all the other sleepy squirrels here. It's a nice reminder to think of those less fortunate around this time. And see what you can do around you to help others. Okay. So I hope that every single one of my lovely sleepy squirrels are well. Wherever you are in the world, whatever's happening around you, I hope that you can find your own little bubble of calm. For example, if you are in California, in the USA, like my lovely patron, Cynthia. Thank you once again on behalf of everyone for sending this cute Christmas tale. Thank you for your lovely continued support for the channel. And I hope that you all have a lovely